Hi everybody, and welcome to the channel of Nanny and Moose. Today's video is all about gift giving from the heart and our home. It's gift giving of treasures that you've collected for years and years to your family, especially your children and your grandchildren. I remember when my mother was in her advanced years. She lived back in New Jersey and we lived in California. And she said, you know, I'm getting so tired. I don't like to shop anymore. And she was such a big Christmas person, loved to give presents. And I said, Mom, go down in your cellar and dig through all those shelves that she had covered with curtains of the precious things from the family. And I said, just take things off the shelves, the candlesticks, the silver tea sets, all these wonderful things that she loved from all those years she used. And I remember I would rather have gifts like that than any new gift any day of the year. And so that's what Moose and I are doing this year. These gifts are our treasures. And the children have grown up with a lot of these things, and I know they will love it. And that's what I mean when I say gift giving from our hearts and our home. So before I begin, I would like to say something about all our new subscribers. And I want to thank you so much and welcome you to our channel. We're all about aging successfully. Moose and I are 83. And we're still in there. We're enjoying ourselves. We're getting through all this with a few minor little emotional outbursts from me every once in a while, but I recover quickly. So without further ado, I'm going to show you some of these books, and I think you might recognize some. They go way back, some of them 30, 40 years. I have kept a couple that we got as wedding presents that I really learned to cook from some of those cookbooks, and a few others that are very sentimental.
I think you learned a lot of cooking from me too.
Oh, absolutely.
When we were in Fort Knox, you came to me and said these instructions on these frozen peas says, put a cup of water on the fire, and when it boils, put the peas in. And you came to me and said, how do you know when it's boiling?
Baloney, I wasn't that bad.
That's true.
Okay, so we'll begin in a minute. And it looks like today, with my long shot, that I'm in some kind of an outdoor kitchen. And today is going to be all about cookbooks. All those wonderful hardcover cookbooks that Moose and I have collected over the years. Moose was a great cook over the years too, making soups and all kinds of wonderful things. And today I'm going to show you some of the books that I've collected, which have been in my yellow tubs for a couple of months now since I cleaned out my kitchen. And these books are somehow going to get distributed at Christmas time. I don't know how we'll see all these people, but somehow we'll do it. And here is Moosey, one of my past cooks of past years. What do you think of all these?
Oh, man.
Aren't they great? Now, also, this includes a lot of kitchenware. As you can see, Moosey has his painting apron on. He's been going great guns, but he can't show you anything yet.
There's a reason why.
Take your paintbrush out of your mouth.
It goes behind my ear,
yeah.
I've started, maybe finished, I don't know, 3 or 4 of these paint by numbers.
Yeah.
Which keeps me out of the taverns.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But there's not one that I'm proud enough to show you guys what it's like.
Let me tell you something. As you all know, many of you have complimented Moosey on his paintings. You can't believe that they're paint by numbers, and you're all anxious to see how he's coming along. So I don't know how he's going to share these, but guess what? I do have to re-stretch 2 more canvases because he bought 2 more, and Moosey is not one to check for details. He didn't look to see if they were already stretched on the canvas. So that's another one of my Christmas jobs I have to get to. So
I'll get out of here.
So say goodbye to a lot of these books that you've used and I've used over the years.
Goodbye, books!
Now, many of these books and the titles, I can see certain children relating to certain ones. Some love Chinese cooking and sushi cooking, some love soup cooking, some do bread making, and generally, I think a lot of these books will appeal to a lot of the kids. So I'm going to start showing you some of them, and I'll bring them up a little bit closer. In fact, we'll do a close-up shot now. Some of these books I've enjoyed so much over the years. The 4-ingredient cookbook is a great one. Many of these books I picked up when I was teaching, and the book people would come around and the teachers would gather in the teacher's lounge, and oh, I would buy them all the time. There's some of my Santa collection, which probably won't make it this year. Okay, here we have the Oriental cookbook, which goes with the sushi cookbook. And I know who love to do that. These, some of my kids love to make sushi. And so I know I have some recipients for those. This particular one is an interesting, I hope this can work. There we go. This one, Flavors of Hungary. And this one I love because one of my favorite recipes, which my Uncle Edwin of years ago used to make, was a Hungarian goulash, and I loved that goulash. And although a lot of that might have been his recipe, some of these recipes are great. And the spice, allspice, is one that is part of Hungarian cooking. Then we have the potato cookbooks. Now this is very Irish, but there's a number of things you can do with potatoes. A couple of videos ago, I made a Louisiana Cajun meal, which was out of this world. It was shrimp, and it was the night of the Super Bowl. And I taped it, and it was absolutely delicious. Here's one, The Joy of Chinese Cooking. And speaking of the joy of books, Katie Karen, I hope you're listening, my granddaughter Katie, who lives in Canada. A long time ago, I wrapped up, I know she's a Julia Child lover like I was, and a long time ago, I wrapped up The Joy of Cooking, I think that was the name of it, by Julia Childs. It had all her recipes in it from when she started and learned in Paris and went to cooking school. And I'm sure I wrapped it up, and I thought I had sent it to Katie, but evidently I didn't. And Katie, somewhere, that book is somewhere in my stash of things. And that book is marked for you, so don't worry about that. Julia Child is still coming to you. We have Hunters and Gamers in Idaho, and Fishermen galore. And I know some of my grandkids and my son Bill and his wife Bonnie are great fish eaters. And they're fishermen. They actually catch the giant salmon in the river right across the street from their home in Idaho. So there's a lot of that. Now there's Ina, the barefoot Contessa. I love her cooking. I think I have 2 bread books, and I love to bake bread, and I know that one of my granddaughters is a big bread, so is her mommy. She's going to be starting to make a lot of different types of breads, baguettes and things. This one I love because there's recipes for bread in there too. Here's some of my Scottish books that we used over there. These are collections. These are great recipes for haggis and black pudding and all the traditional cooking that we loved when we lived in Scotland. Scones. Someone recently was asking me for my scones recipe, and I believe it's somewhere in that book. Garlic. Oh, garlic is a great thing to add to almost everything. I think I'm losing these as I try and put them back. Here's another one of our Scottish and British books. This one's, I think, from England. So I think some of the kids that were with us, our first 4 kids that were born before we moved over there, they spent 3 years there with us. Fondue, we love our fondue, and I think most of the kids have a fondue pot. They love it too. Let's see, what else is over here? I think I went through some of those. I don't want to go too fast here. I can't believe that all the years I had these. I had a wonderful library in our family home originally, and it just went on for shelves and shelves, and I was very proud of it. It was wonderful. A lot of the books were gifts. There's a fish and shellfish book. I knew who that's going to. And over here, I've sort of lined them up. Now, these are some of the things that will accompany some of the books. I've collected these from thrift shops for years, and I have a bunch of them. They're pewter. One or two are silver, but these are great. These are the wine coasters. And I have probably 6 or 7 of these, the bread ones, and I love to make my Irish bread. So since I'm not doing a lot of shopping this year, these gifts are from the heart and the home, and they're nostalgic, and I know our children will love them. This is a beautiful fish platter that will probably accompany the fish books, and these are all pewter. But here's some more of these wonderful bread dishes. Aren't they great? I love these. And you just bake a loaf of bread, put it in there, and makes a great gift. Now, under here, I've had these for years, and I recently found them in the back of one of my closets. These are ceramic and pewter, and they're from Dickens. They're characters from the Dickens books, and I think I have 3 of these, and I think I know who these are going to as well. Aren't these characters great? Sam Weller. Cute. That was from David Copperfield. And who's this one? This is Mr. Pickwick from the Pickwick Papers. These are great. I love these. And there's many, many more of these pewter. I have some wonderful Armatel platters that I have a long bread dish with bunny rabbits on them. Beautiful the way the pewter is carved, and I have other big giant ones. So hopefully, I don't know how I'm going to get the gifts around at Christmas because we're not seeing everyone, and I'm not getting out to shop. So this was one reason that we've decided to give treasures from our heart and our home. And you know, the kids appreciate this probably more than anything. Now, some of these books, Magic Foods, No Time to Cook. There's a cookbook that I bought, I think, a year or 2 ago, The Pioneer Woman. She has some great family recipes. I love this one, The Sopranos Family Cookbook. So you can imagine what kind of cooking that is. That's mostly Italian. This one I've had for years, Victorian Entertainment. This one is a cookbook about Victorian days, and this one is a Christmas cookbook. And here's one of Oprah's books. Remember a long time ago she had a gal that did cooking for her when she was losing weight, I believe. It's called In the Kitchen with Rosie. This is great. This is a kid's book on bread making and pretzel making, and it fits into a folder. I believe it's this side. Great book, and I know who that's going to as well. German and Viennese cooking. Love German cooking. Here's an old one. And of course, My Atkins for Life big book, and a low-carb Bible. That's a good one too. Over here, in an Irish kitchen, the pictures and the photographs in here are absolutely beautiful. And this is filled with all sorts of Irish bread and scones and just about everything you can imagine. I've really used that one. Light Kitchen, Great Meals in Minutes, the Appetizer Bible. That's a great one for some of the kids that entertain. I know who's getting this one, Fix It and Forget It, the cookbook that's for your slow cooker. And another Williams and Sonoma book about pasta sauces, plus one on the bottom that is a giant hardcover book called Sauces. And the pictures and recipes in there are absolutely beautiful. For years, I guess 3 or 4 years ago, I really was into sauces because I believe they make just about anything. So that's it. And as I say, I don't know how I'm going to distribute all these. Maybe it'll take a couple of months, after the COVID is over, when people can come and visit us and we can sit around and go through these. But I thought you'd enjoy seeing those of you who love to cook. I hope I didn't miss one. Do you remember the Galloping Gourmet? Graham Kerr, his name. He was an Englishman, and of course, since we lived over there in Britain, we were quite into his recipes. About a month or two ago, I did a video all about my jewelry, 2 parts, part 1 and part 2. And while I was setting up the jewelry out here, it was all our necklaces, my necklaces, and earrings and rings and things that I've had for years and years and years. A lot of them that don't fit me, they're a little small, and I'm trying to go through everything. And while I had my little setup out here when I was filming my vintage jewelry, my little 13-year-old granddaughter, Shannon, came down from the big house, and she looked at everything, and I said, would you like to pick out a ring? And she did. She said, ooh, may I? And so she went through the rings, and she found a beautiful silver heart, the Irish ring with the heart in the middle and the hands connecting to the heart. And she took that home, and before she went, she said, you know, Ryan would love to do this too, but she can't come down and look at all the jewelry because she's in the process of doing one of her classes online. Ryan is getting ready to, she's applying to colleges, and she's already had some responses where she's been given merit grant money, scholarship money, a very bright girl and very excited for college next September. So that gave me the idea that perhaps I will include that in my gift giving of things from the heart and the home, and let some of my daughters and some of the younger grandchildren pick out something in the way of maybe rings. And Ryan, Shannon said, Ryan wears 5 rings on one hand, Nanny. She loves rings. So she can have a go at some of my rings. Here's some of the ones that don't fit me, some that do, and she can go ahead and pick some rings. So this is also something, and I have several other ideas of things that hopefully I'll include in the gift giving. I might not be able to get it to everybody this year, but at least the thought's there, and they'll know that there is something coming. This is my Advent candle wreath, and it begins on the first week of Advent. There are 4 weeks before Christmas, and that period of time is called Advent, and Christians all over the world celebrate this. By the way, happy Hanukkah to everyone out there of the Jewish faith. I know you're celebrating now, and so happy Hanukkah to you. And you have a beautiful tradition with the candles, the menorah too. So the tradition of the Advent candle is that each week in the family, you light the first purple candle. There's 3 purple candles and 1 pink. The first purple candle, I believe, is hope. It stands for hope. And there's little prayers that if you go online and look up Advent prayers, the oldest child in the family reads the first prayer. And each night of that first week, you light the candle, and the children take turns reading the prayer. It's all preparing your family for Christmas and the birth of Jesus. The second week comes the second purple candle, and you light that candle along with the first candle, and you say the prayers that are dedicated for the second week. And that candle stands, I believe, for preparation. On the third week, you light the pink candle. And the pink candle stands for joy, because obviously joy, we celebrate a very joyful period in our life when we celebrate the birth of Jesus. And you do the same thing. Now you're lighting 3 candles as you say the prayer. And on the last 4th week of Advent, you light the last purple candle. And I believe we have joy, hope, preparation, faith, is it? Oh my, do I forget the theme for that one? But at any rate, it's a beautiful tradition and a fun thing for your family to do, especially this year. So that's my Advent wreath. I told you I'd show it to you. Now, usually you put a wreath, a circular wreath at the bottom. You can see that. It's probably a little large. You can get a smaller one. And of course, the wreath celebrates eternity, never-ending eternity with the circle. So that's the Advent wreath. And my little angel, I've had that, I bet, for 30 years. They used to make those that fit over candles, little cute little figurines. This one happens to be an angel. Cute. So I hope maybe you would think about doing it. You can just you don't have to have a ring with 4 candles attached to the same ring. You can just use 4 candlesticks of your own to do this. Now, my last remaining project for today and possibly tomorrow is my Ken and Barbie dolls. What I have to do, and I think I told you about this, is I have to dress up a bride and a groom for a tree topper, a Christmas tree topper for one of Barry and Dubby's sons who's getting married on the 10th of December. And Dub is having a very small little reception at her home, only for, I think, 12 people. And we won't be there. But she asked me, I did this once before, and I think I told you, I might have put it on a video. I did one of these dolls, oops, Barbie fell, for Molly and Kevin when they got married several years ago. And it was on the treetop of the Christmas tree for their engagement party at Christmas time. So what I have to do, I'm not a sewer of tiny things, and I've been having problems trying to get the bodice of the dress done because the top is sort of a pearly, beautiful top that I'm not able to really do. So what I've done is I've sewn her into this dress. Nobody's going to be able to take it off, and I'm resorting to the glue gun from here on in to be able to put everything on. I also have to do, Shayna has a couple of tattoos on her arm that she just loves, and they want me to put some tattoos on the arm, so I have to do some painting on both arms of a rose and some beautiful things on the arms, and that's going to be delicate because Barbie's arm is pretty tiny, and I don't know how those are going to turn out. The other problem is that originally, and I'm going to show you this, originally Dubby bought this Ken, and Ken was a blonde and Tyler is not a blonde, but we needed the tuxedo suit. So then Dub bought this fella. He's the urban guy, but he's not dressed right. So we have to switch this guy's tuxedo to this guy because he has Tyler's beard and also mustache. Dub originally wanted me to paint one on him and darken his hair, but that was going to be too much trouble. So now we have this guy. We just need his suit. And he will marry this Barbie. So there we have it. Those are my crafts for the next couple of days. And I think it's going to be fun. And then I'll attach both of them together, and the skirt will go over the top of the tree, spread out, and it will be very, very beautiful. So that's it. I have a little piece of fancy little shiny stuff that I'll probably make a little crown on Barbie's hair. And I don't think Shayna's wearing a veil, so we'll do that. And that's that. And then I have to get back to my decorating. I still have my creche to decorate, and I want to show that to you. In fact, I'm going to show you my new barn or stable, I guess you'd call it. And I'm so excited. It's been waiting for me for a couple of months now. I got it several months ago. So I'm going to go get that. Isn't this beautiful? It's made of twigs. This is the back. And the top is sprayed to look like snow. And it's so beautiful, and it's just the right size for my figurines. So I will be filling this up with, put some Christmas greens inside, and hopefully I'll be able to do this on camera with you for my next video. I also have to decorate my mantle. I'm a little bit behind on my decorating, so that will be a little hard. Plus, I did get these a while ago when I thought I'd be able to have a little kind of a craft day with a couple of my granddaughters. And I saw these, the idea for this particular craft, on one of Patty Rockstar Mom's old videos when she was decorating for Christmas. I don't know whether a lot of you have done this, but I've gotten about a dozen of these. They look like glass, but I think they're plastic, and I'm just as well. They have them in glass, but the plastic's just as nice. And what you do is you get out your little craft paints, the ones that come in the small bottles, the acrylics, and you pour in a little bit of 2 or 3 or 4 colors, golds and reds and greens, or blues, whatever color you want to put in. And then you move the glass around, and the paint distributes itself in such a beautiful natural way. It almost looks like layers of sand or whatever. And then you decorate the top. You put this back in again. You take this off when you pour your paints in. And then you can put ribbons on here, or I think Patty glued some pearls and beads around here if you want to make them really fancy. But you can decorate anything with a glue gun on the outside if you want, and they are beautiful. So thank you for the idea, Patty, and I hope I get to do these in a couple days, and then we can just add them to the tree. Moose has told me he's going to do some decorating for the tree for me, so I don't have to worry about that. So there you have it. Craft projects galore to do. But I'm not going to let it upset me, or if I get behind, it's going to be okay. So it's okay, ladies, not to get everything done. I told you in my last video that I was cutting down on things that I'm going to be doing. I'm not putting out all my inside decor. I do still have to put my poinsettias. I have about 8 or 9 poinsettias that I just keep for years. Obviously they're not real, and I put them all around the front door, and it looks really pretty and red, and it takes the place of all my beautiful pumpkins that sat there for 2 months. So I think that's it for today. As you can see, I have another one of my Christmas sweaters on. I hope maybe you'll want to perhaps try making a family Advent wreath and lighting the candles each night and saying a few little prayers. It's just a nice family tradition if it goes along with your religious affiliations. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you all consider subscribing, those of you who watch or who are just seeing me for the first time. We're all about aging successfully and enjoying ourselves, and Moose and I do a lot of things. We love to garden, and right now we're sort of keeping everything ready until spring comes again. We do have a few things that here in California will still keep sprouting. But we do have fun. We have a large family. Family is very important to us. And Moosey and I have a fun life in our little 90-year-old adobe cottage. So do join us. And thank you to all the rest of the wonderful people who subscribe and comment. Love all your comments. Bye for now. We'll see you all in our next video, which I hope will be in a couple of days. And I hope to maybe have you come along and do some decorating with me. God bless us all.